Black Soil Podcast. Today I got my brother Keenan with me.
What's good?
He's a longtime friend. We basically grew up together, if you know what I mean. Not from childhood, but from Boyz and Men.
Yeah.
We've been through a lot, man. And today we're gonna get into a few things, man. Life, you know how I do. Life, relationships, mental health. You know what I mean? So tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Hey, look, man. I'm married. Some of y'all know me as KK. Some of y'all know me as Keenan. Kenny the name. Some of y'all know me as Crazy Six. So I'm just here to touch bases with my man Zoe on the Black Soil.
Black Soil. Bro.
Black Soil. Wow, damn.
It's all good.
Just trying, help my brother out. So here we go. We here today.
All right. If y'all didn't know, I didn't explain this in my first video, but I started this podcast on inspiration, man. Like, I see a lot of people talking about a lot of things. I feel like I got something to say, and I'm going to say it. You understand? Big shout out to Wallow267 from $1 Million Worth of Game. He really gave me a lot of inspiration with this, being the ex-con. Brother did 20 years in prison, came home, changed his whole life. So I feel as though if he can do it, anybody can do it. Another shout out is my brother Mike, my brother Trent on their podcast.
It's just they thoughts.
Men Talk too, man. Big shout out to them. Big inspiration. I just gonna give you my point of views on certain things, and we're gonna get into it, man. So tell me about growing up uptown DC, man. Boxer.
Growing uptown DC, man, I feel like it was just like any other city. I mean, a lot of people think the suburbs is kind of like different from the south side, but for real, you be surprised. Like, we love the south side, whereas most south side people love uptown. I mean,
when they say south side, he talking about DC.
Yeah, I mean, we talking about DC.
We talking about DC.
Yeah, the D. The district. So, District of Columbia to those out there. So, I mean, like I said, growing uptown, I don't feel it's really any different. I just feel like you growing up in a different environment, different element, but you still come across the same things that you would in any other area. I mean, same troubles, same murders, same killings, same stealing, same robberies. I mean, just around a little different atmosphere, that's all. Just a little twist with it, that's all.
I mentioned earlier that we grew up together, right? So we've been in this car club world. It's got this thing in the DMV, it's a car club scene, right? So we came up in that. We was young, wild, and free. Right, we was trying to find our ways, but at some point we had to mature. We had to grow the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So, at what point did you grow up? You know what I mean? Because I know you had grown moments, but when did you grow up?
Let's see, man. I would say probably about 2017. I wanted different. I started fiending. It's like you fiend for what you don't have. I started wanting to be better, but I didn't know how to get there. I mean, I had all the images, when it came down to role models, but I didn't know what way to go. So I wanted to go that way, but I really didn't start growing until I got married. And I probably would say it was after the first year of marriage. I was still immature, and when I first got married, I mean, I was still battling that, thinking I'm a man versus being a man. That was my two things. I thought about being the man versus being a man. And
let me cut you in. How you think marriage changed your life, man?
Marriage changed my life.
You're talking to me. It's a safe place, bro.
Yeah. I get it. Marriage changed my life for a lot of things. I would say it was structured. That's one of the biggest things. I wasn't used to structure. I mean, I was used to sleeping with a different, woman. I wasn't used to being, myself around with one person. I wasn't used to investing into one person. So for me, marriage kind of like put some structure, some stability in my life, and I wasn't used to that. It made me in some ways learn to become disciplined. So I guess that would be for my part on how it changed me.
Do you think your past traumas, like say when you grew up, we was growing up uptown, right? Say you might have witnessed a couple of guys get killed or shot. You know what I mean? Do you think your past traumas and your childhood traumas, if you had any, do you think that play a role in, you know what I'm saying, your marriage today? And do you think counseling is a good thing for childhood traumas?
For childhood trauma, I would say to some things, I gotta say what's understood need not be said. But to some traumas, counseling is most definitely needed. I feel like counseling is a must. I know, well, if we speaking about me, I know I needed it bad, like behavioral issues, little outbursts. I really needed that, so I had to actually reach out, and I'm not afraid to say I had to reach out because I had so many things on my mind, like for my own testimony, and it was too much probably for just one person to handle, or for me to express it in one way. So I appreciate you asking that question. That was deep.
How you think it? Do you think as men, right? Because you know, sometimes as men we don't really do counseling, man. We might go through our whole life without doing no counseling. You know what I'm saying? So, do you think as men, you think that's something needed to prosper in your marriage and your relationships with your friends, with your work, with job? Do you think we need to fix that childhood trauma before we try to take on anybody else's trauma?
So, yeah, I would say yeah. My question, I mean not my question, but my answer and behind saying yeah is sometimes we feel like we can take on more than what we can handle because we're supposed to be the man, and we put more pressure on ourselves. Sometimes we afraid to, come out of that shell and be like, yo, I can't handle this. So I know for me, a lot of times I took on things that I couldn't handle, and I was afraid to open my mouth because of how people look at me.
You weak.
Yeah,
you a weak man. You was a beta.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I had to literally. I looked at men who were alpha men, and I was like, yeah, I want that, man. I was craving for what I didn't have. I was like, man, but that ain't me. Like I was afraid. I ain't gonna lie. I was afraid. I was scared. So I think when it came down to me going to the counselor, it was like, yo, like me speaking to a counselor, like, yo, hearing somebody, we see it all on TV, like we done seen it on Bad Boys where she was like, you do know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, but it was most yeah, woosah, all that. It really was like, going to a counselor, it was like, I gotta really open up. I gotta be vulnerable. And that was a part of me that I was never used to. I was never about being vulnerable. I felt like, you show love will get you killed in so many ways. So,
me, I recommend counseling to all the people, men, old, young, indifferent, man. I recommend counseling, man, because that shit really can change your life. You know what I mean? You never know. Counseling and God. Insert both of those two. I'm not gonna get too religious on here, but them two right there, you need to insert both of those into your life as much as possible, because you think your whole life you might think you're going on a trajectory to, or going a certain way, but you get some counseling, you're like, bro, you really hurting deep down inside, and you need to fix that for you. Some people traumas are worse than others, and I feel like some people need to get fixed because that trauma can fuck up your marriage, it can fuck up your relationships with your kids, with your parents. If you holding on to things you need to get fixed, but I definitely recommend counseling and God, man.
I would definitely agree to that when it comes down to it, counseling and God. Like, even when it come down to the God part, I was afraid to, worship and open up. That's like I said, that was a part of me that I never was trying to be depending on something else other than myself. And when I realized I couldn't do it alone, like I had to reach out, learn to pray, learn to talk to God, and reach out to a counselor. So
we're not gonna get too religious because Trent and Mike, you watching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta get honest.
Yeah.
But let's talk about accountability as a man. You know what I mean? Do you think as men in relationship, do you think we're supposed to take all the accountability for everything? I know for your actions. Ooh. Let me speak from a personal point. From a personal point, I believe that the common denominator in every situation, whether good, bad, or indifferent, the common denominator is going to be you all the time. That's one thing about every situation you go through that's the same as you, whether it's your fault or not. You know what I mean? So I believe accountability is strong. Take your part in what went right or what went wrong. You know what I mean? And you got to live with that and die with that. You know what I'm saying? All you can do is try to change and get better. You know? Right. Pray about it.
Well, do I think accountability for us? I feel like everything, like me listening, me learning, like not just religiously, but reality. Me learning about life a lot more as becoming more of a man and growing in my years. I feel like accountability definitely falls on us because we're supposed to be built to carry the weight. Man.
But if you ever looked at it in retrospect, nobody's built to carry all that weight. That's true. I don't believe no man is built to carry all the weight of a whole family. No woman is built to. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be a community effort.
I agree.
A joint effort. I mean, if you're out here living by yourself, thugging, you gotta take care of yourself. But I think once you do that union or lock it in with somebody, you know what I'm saying? All that weight. I'm not talking about just financial. I'm talking about mental. Everything about your life. All that weight shouldn't have to be on you. You shouldn't have to take the weight of that person, and put it on your back because it's not natural. You know what I mean? So I think.
But so like I said, I agree with you on that. But I gotta think about it. We living in a realistic world. In a realistic world, it's built off of from our ancestors that this is how things are supposed to be. So in a natural sense, when we grow up, we're trained to do certain things. Like when it come down to women, you gotta think. Look at their toys. Like when you look at their toys in the store, like I got a daughter now, so I be looking at the toys. They get them like Barbie dolls with houses and cooking stuff. They already molding them to be a wife. But us, we get.
Man, not in this new generation. I can't.
I'm just saying, for most of the stuff for us, we get monster trucks, cars, and what we naturally grow up to like is those type of things, materialistic things.
So you saying that we are molded from
adolescence. Yeah.
To want to be and do certain things.
Yeah,
don't get it twisted. I think a man is supposed to be the head of the household, but I'm talking about the burden of life shouldn't all be on his back. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's supposed to be the head. He's supposed to lead. Let me not go too far in that because some women don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Some women are the leaders. You know what I mean? Rightfully so.
That's the independent. We talking about the independent woman there.
You're taking it out of the marriage aspect a little bit.
Yeah, but when you, like I said, when you got women out there that's very independent, and but it's like sometimes it's like more so it's still pressure on them, and when you think about it, like I said, in the real world, they not really built to carry that weight, but they gotta do it. It's just like a mother. A single mother, she gotta tend to those children. If the father, she gotta do what she gotta do. If the father not there, I think we got a lot more leeway, and a lot of times we don't take accountability for that part that we are supposed to carry that weight. So when we put it on us in a natural sense, sometimes we're not prepared, but we're not vulnerable to tell our significant other or another woman.
But some
because it shows a weakness.
It shouldn't though, right?
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. The right woman is not gonna see it as a weakness. She's gonna be like, all right, you cut yourself on your foot. Let me put a Band-Aid on that. Help you get better. Let me help you get better because you need to walk over those feet every day. I want to help you heal so you can get back to it. Not, oh, you cut your foot. Why the fuck you cutting your foot? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Beat you down about it.
Yeah.
Beat you down. That's not going to help any situation.
But our generation is broken when it comes to that. The things that we expect, is it dyslexic or something like that? It's basically we do the opposite. We do the opposite of what we really should be doing. Like, it's more so like catering, caring, when instead what we do is we bash. It's like if you see somebody fall, you be like, we gonna laugh instead of helping.
First thing people do is pull out the camera phone.
Right. You gonna place that embarrassment on them instead of helping them up.
Yeah.
I mean, you got some people though that'll mess around, slip, fall right with them, and just be like, hey, look, I failed, and then we both gonna get up together. Yeah. But it's like, how often does that come about? That's not something that happens on a very often basis. So, just goes back to the cut. How many people gonna seal that wound? Not many people women or men, not many of us gonna seal that wound. If anything, we gonna cut deep, and that's where the wrong goes.
But I believe some of us men, we've been systematically conditioned to heal your own wounds. Because when we children, the first thing your dad and your mom tell you, get up, stop crying like a little girl. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? After hearing that over and over in your life 1,000 times, you kind of start to believe that.
Right.
So when you get in a relationship, I believe is it shouldn't be like that, but sometimes it is like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes it is like that. I can't tell my wife that my check was short. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She ain't trying to hear that shit.
Right.
I mean, some women ain't trying. I ain't gonna say all of them, but some women ain't trying to hear that shit.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
That's the truth.
You's a bum.
that's the truth. You ain't nothing.
You's a bum.
You ain't got it. You ain't shit.
You know
like
you's a bum.
Like, you gotta come through. You short? What you mean you short? Like,
I gotta do every fucking thing.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So,
just because you're short, you know what I mean? But you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna get your ass up and go right back to work. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta make it happen.
Right. So in a sense, what we're doing when we do that, in a sense, it's like we gotta start. We shouldn't have to do it, but it's like more so of if we take the negative part out of it, on how sometimes it's not what we say, it's how we say it. So you take the negative part out of it, and you like, yeah, and you put that towards your motivation. But not every man and woman can do that. Some go through emotional distress when hearing it, but then on the other end, you got some that'll put that towards their motivation and be 10 times better. It's more so built on how are you? Like, I mean, are you which person are you? And that's hard. That's hard in life to be that way, because I know I've been torn down in life before, and not just in marriage, just period. Like we can't fake the funk. We did some tearing down too, man. Yeah, that's what I was about to get to.
I remember we wasn't shit.
I didn't tear down. I didn't tear down like, just like don't care, and you had no remorse. You had no, and you're not vulnerable. And it's like, yo, when you just sit in front of somebody and they crying, and it's like, what you crying for? Like, why do you even care? Like, it's like, seriously, like, come on now.
Cry, man.
Like, man, I ain't got no sympathy for that.
I go cry in a car.
Right. But
when it's raining.
But the thing is like, when you think about it, and as you mature, and that's why I was saying about, that's where the thinking about being the split decision for my life came from, being the man versus being a man. Because when I was KK being the man, I didn't care about nobody's feelings. I wasn't sympathetic at all. I in the natural sense, I just was like, hey, I'm living. It is what it is. You're going to be with me or you're going to be against me. But when I had to grow into being a man, it made me think about all the wrong in life that I did. And it made me think about, yo, where do I start at from, trying to get forgiveness here, 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 and here. And in a sense, you don't start ever trying to go searching to get that forgiveness back. You just change your ways and your habits. So, I mean, I think that's where that came about when it came to that. So
you preaching today. Something to say, bro.
Hey, look, it is what it is. We on a podcast. Look,
hey, you got something to say.
We here. I mean,
you talking, eh?
Yeah, we here.
It might be some bullshit.
Nah, ain't no bullshit.
I'm kidding. But damn. So we was talking about the marriage thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about our point of view, our aspect. But I want to take it somewhere else. I want to see, how do you feel, how important is it, I'm trying to get my words together, how important is it to speak life into your lady? How important is that?
I would say it's very important because, and I didn't know how to. But I'm gonna say this: by me being a father and being close to my daughter, that same encouragement that I gotta get her, I gotta get to my wife. But I'm giving it to an adult 10 times more. I have to understand her experiences and take them and put them together and be like, man, okay, it's different. So my daughter hasn't experienced too much of life, but then when you're dealing with a woman who's experienced life, it becomes a challenge. So when I speak life into her, I gotta make sure I'm as uplifting as I can be. It's like when I look in the mirror, when I want to leave out the house, I'm looking good and this and that. I'm like, oh yeah, you handsome. Ooh, I can blow a kiss at myself, but at the same time, not to be conceited or cocky. I gotta take that same energy and get my woman and be like, babe, you looking fine today.
Did you say blow a kiss at yourself, bro?
Hey, look, I'm just saying.
Wow, boy.
I'm giving examples, but
on the flip side, I'm gonna get back to that. On the flip side, do you think, is it important for a man to receive compliments and affirmations from his lady?
Yeah, that's one of my love languages.
That's a lot of things that men don't ask for or don't speak of, because they, you know what I'm saying, you get called weak or soft. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Man, baby, listen. Tell me I look good. Tell me my skin look good.
The hell with that. Look,
yeah, man,
then when I come from that barbershop, babe, you better be telling me, look, you look fine as hell. You sexy.
Just like you women need it. The men need it too. You know what I'm saying? It's not no soft shit, no flaky, milky shit. It's just some facts, man. Like,
but that opens up doors, though. That right there, that'll open up a door. Cause once you get it and you feel it, and you're like, oh man, it's like I'm gonna receive and then I gotta give.
Yeah, I mean, but that should almost come second nature. You know, women told they look good all the time. Even if
you walk out the house.
It's not about us. You know what I'm saying? But I think our women want it from us more so than Instagram or any amount of likes you can get on your picture.
You can get 1,000 likes on Instagram.
You see a lady walking, about to leave out the house. She don't. A man attention span is short. Right. She don't think you're looking at her. You just, hey, you looking good as hell. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how it's going to affect her, but it might make her day. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm guaranteed you, she'll go out the house. It's going to be 123 other niggas
that's going to say the same thing,
saying the same
trying
thing.
To get a number.
And all she wanted it from you. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that us men, we should do that a lot more. You know what I'm saying? And require it more. You know? But
that's definitely a couple requirement, though. It should go both ways. It always should.
Man, so I got a question for you, bro. So, how you feel about monogamy, man? Do you think men or women who you think are the protectors of monogamy, men or women? Who you think value it more, men or women? I kind of feel like it's a 50-50 thing based on how you view your own relationship. You know what I mean? But for me, for me, monogamy is 100% important and 100% necessary. It wasn't always. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we grew up together. Mm-hmm. I feel as though it's definitely 100%. Should be 100% on both sides.
Okay, so I'm agree with there should be 100% important on both ends, but the but gonna come in is when you say who thinks is more important. I feel like the females think is more important than we do. I mean, to keep it 100, like you said, we grew up together, so to keep it 100, I mean, it's like the women. It's like soul ties, honestly. Like when you every time you sleep with somebody or have any type of relations with somebody, you give a piece of you that you can't get back. Most women don't like to give that piece away to just any and everybody. Whereas in me in the past, or men, we can say, we would give it away without doubt and just be like, man, look, I'm just trying to knock that down. This is what this is and keep it moving. I mean, if we keeping it real, that's how it was. That's back then. I mean, in your relationship, when you actually grow, when you actually mature, it's going to be more important. But the thing is, it comes with investment. It comes with time invested, and it comes with like sometimes it even builds a sense of insecurity with you.
Elaborate on that.
It'll build a sense of insecurity with you because it's something you're not used to. It's like, yo, you start thinking like since you've been through whatever you went through, like me in the past. I know it was a time where, I didn't, even with my wife, certain things would challenge me because it would be like, I know that's my wife. I know she belonged to me. I know that's my woman. I belong to her. That is what that is. However, because I wasn't used to people who I knew were married before I was married being faithful, I challenged certain things and it built some insecurities around my marriage and within me. And it was like,
you feel you had to grow up inside your marriage?
Yeah, I had to grow, and it wasn't easy. It came with speaking to a counselor. It came with literally sometimes speaking to my wife, and that was probably the most challenging thing. I could speak to a counselor who I don't know from Adam and Eve, but at the same time, when it came to speaking to my wife, it was like that was the biggest challenge because it was like I wasn't comfortable like opening up too much because I done been cut by so many times. I done opened up before.
You've been cut and you cut.
Yeah, I done did the cutting.
That fucking life.
I done did the cutting. Did
100, bro.
Yeah, I was about to say I was getting it. I done did the cutting and cut. So when it came down to it, it was like, I don't deserve this. So it was like I don't deserve this. So it was like I know, what I'm receiving ain't real. It was like because how I was, man. I sometimes think about a lot of things. It was like, yo, I don't deserve a faithful wife, or I don't deserve a loyal wife because of the ways that I was.
Yeah, you think karma going?
Yeah, I be
do its thing.
Yeah, it's like, yo, I be on the clock, like.
I think if we think like that, if we keep thinking like that as men, all we're gonna do is wind up reverting back to the same person,
and it'll break us down.
It'll break everything you worked so hard for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you should just keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like even when you in dark places, first thing we turn to now is God. You know what I'm saying? But back then it wasn't God. Back then it was
a bottle. Hey, look, y'all. What we meeting at? We need to talk about this.
Call a little. You know what I'm saying?
A little joint.
Yeah.
Like, it was like
get my stress out real quick. You know what I'm saying? But that was boyish ways of thinking. And we think like you got to think like a man. You on man time now. So, I mean, life changed, bro. Right. Life definitely changed. You know what I'm saying? You went from
I was a straight dog, man.
I was big, but
I was anything. I'm gonna be real. I like I said, a lot of the things in life.
Hey, but look, man, don't beat yourself up too much, because what couldn't break a nigga made a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What movie that came on? I can't even record it right now.
Well.
But what you overcame and you learned, you took knowledge from every situation you came from.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You might have left some heartbreak, but they took knowledge from every situation they came from. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got some knowledge from that situation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whether good or bad or indifferent, you got some knowledge, you got some insight. And now all you can do now is look forward. You can't look back and, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Well, you'll be looking back for the rest of your life, man.
Well, I'm not gonna say, like I said, I speak with confidence. I honestly, when I talk about these things and me being here, you know, speaking on it, I'm highly aware of where I came from. But the thing is, I know where I've been, but I know where I want to be. Mm-hmm. So now, when I see any type of things now, I'm more so I'm on the opposite side. Like, I done jumped that fence. I done jumped off the porch now. So it's like, yeah, I was in the house and I was cool. I was comfortable. Man, I got real comfortable with being uncomfortable, because things that were uncomfortable did nothing but make me better. So, I mean, that's just where I stand on that. So, a lot of times we gotta beware what makes us comfortable, because it keeps us in a bracket,
in a box, for sure. But man, next thing I'm gonna go to, man. So, have you ever heard of this brother named Kevin Samuels?
I heard
he's a YouTube sensation. This nigga be tearing women apart. I don't agree with everything he says,
but sometimes he speaks real. I think I heard one joint on YouTube from him.
Cause he don't speak about men like us. He speak about niggas and making 6 figures and shit. We up there, but that's G. G up there in 6 figures. That nigga G is in 6 figures.
Shout out to G.
Shout out to that man G. He's in 6 figures. Congratulations on that, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations. But 6 figure nigga. That's what we call him. Yeah. But yeah, that's what he speak on. He speak on women trying to obtain a man like that. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing, but I think some of the women don't know that with a man like that, every woman wants a man like that. So you're not just competing against the black women. You're competing against Asian, white, Spanish women, because they all want the cream of the crop.
Yeah, it's more like what can you do for me?
Yeah, that's basically what he speaks
what you bringing to the table.
But he says it in a harsh ass way. Like that nigga is ruthless.
He like I don't give a fuck.
But his point, I get his point. You know what I'm saying? But when he talks to men, like when he giving advice to men, it's worse, bro. But I don't think that should get as publicized as when he talking to a woman. But when he talk to a man, man, that should be disheartening. I think it's all in good faith.
He remind me of a professional Corey Holcomb. I don't know, the comedian. Comedian. He just professional with it. That's it.
Don't care.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Corey Holcomb stay talking about it.
Yeah.
But what do I think about him? I feel like certain things he say, I mean, they just hard facts. A lot of times we don't like to face the harsh and the hard facts. Like we stray away from it because we looking for that kind tone, that kind response. And a lot of times that's not what really push us all the time, but we be looking for when we really like, you know, like we out here giving harsh statements and harsh responses but can't receive it. How can you don't be a giver, somebody you gonna dish out punishment but can't receive the punishment. And a lot of times
I think I got you.
Yeah, that's what if I give you a message and I say something disrespectful and harsh to you, but I can't take it back when you bring it back.
Got you.
Like, what sense does that make?
You can give it, but you can't take it.
Right. Don't give it if you can't take it. And I feel like he puts it in that format.
The give and take format.
Mm-hmm.
So man, we coming up on it's 2022. We beat COVID. We came past COVID. How did COVID affect you and your family, man? I know it's far removed. Well, they say it's far removed, but how did you and your family overcome that?
So, I actually had a run-in with COVID. You know, my wife had caught COVID.
Sorry to hear that.
And I had a quick run-in with it, and with seeing it firsthand, man, I was there with her 100% of the way. But it was strange. It was different, and you know, we all are vaccinated, but it was really something to see. It was an eye opener, like something this real can just be caught out of nowhere. And man, I thank God he kept my immune system strong. He kept me strong. I didn't catch COVID, and I just don't. Sometimes I don't even understand because I was right there with her, like, hey babe, whatever you need, I got you. I'm here. But it affected us because, man, it was bored in the house. So, like you couldn't do nothing, man.
I loved it, man. I loved it. I loved the traffic.
Yeah, when it came down to traveling to work, it was like peaches. Like,
I love the traffic. I was essential. You was essential.
Yeah, it was peaches when it came to going to work.
Yeah, it was. I love the traffic,
but
man.
When you couldn't go out, no movies. I mean, HBO Max, they did their thing.
But I think that shit tested a lot of couples and relationships. They said what they said. It was just I can quote
the divorce
rate was up.
Yeah, it was 75%. Most people who thought they was with their spouses or they there.
Let me get facts, man. Hold on. COVID.
I mean, you might want to do state of Maryland. I mean, or DC.
Yeah.
I know
during pandemic. I'm gonna cut this out. Don't worry about it. Oh, from July to October 2020, divorce inquiries raised by 122%.
I mean, most of y'all who thought y'all was lovers for life hated
122%. Those is inquiries. Those is people like, man, what do I gotta do to get out of this situation? Man, but man, I encourage love, man. This is learn your partner, love on your partner, man. You be alright, man. You know what I mean?
It's hard becoming one. I can tell you that, cause y'all coming from two different families, two different
worlds, two different mindsets.
Yeah.
Man. But before we go, man, I just want to give a couple of shout outs to my local businesses, people that's doing their thing, making ends meet. Let them know I appreciate them. I appreciate them. Keep pushing them. Give them more motivation to keep pushing. And hopefully I can get you up here to tell you about your business and everything. First, I want to shout out Harry Bombshell. I want to shout out Kia and their credit business. I want to shout out Those Detailing, Narcissa with her lashes, Cordy with his cups. Who else?
Sideline Detailing.
YKM Clothing, my man Dom. Well, Southside Juju, he a YouTube comedian. He gonna be up here real soon. I'm going to Philly for that one.
Black Soil Apparel.
Oh yeah, Black Soil Apparel. I'm coming out with a t-shirt brand. Straight shirts, polos, dress coats. It's gonna be grown and sexy. None of that DMV colorful shit. It's gonna be real sexy, man. And on that note, thanks for tuning into the Black Soil Podcast. I'm Zoe.
I'm KK.
Thanks for listening. Peace.